Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, we're going to talk about what I think is the number one reason velocity banking is so hard for people. And it has nothing to do with the lack of knowledge and kind of or not really related to a lack of having the tool because all of you have credit cards, right? And so you don't need to wait to obtain like a HELOC or PLOC to even do it. You can just do it right now if you have a credit card. And there are people out there that I met one-on-one who are six-figure earners, great income, don't live paycheck to paycheck, right? Watch the YouTube videos, you have the HELOC and still cannot do it, right? And just to kind of give you a personal story of mine, I learned about velocity banking when I was completely broke, right? I was making about $19,000, $20,000 a year. I was doing one of those Craigslist room type shares, and to be honest, like I feel like I was more disciplined back then than I am now. Right now, I think if I had learned velocity banking and I made a lot of money, I'd just be, oh, that's nice. And because I wasn't feeling the pinch of living paycheck to paycheck and trying to find every single way to maximize the return of my dollar, right? And so even though I was low income and I wouldn't say low credit, I would say no credit. Um, I was just kind of, I guess, desperate to figure out other ways to maximize my return and find a way so that I just wouldn't have to live paycheck to paycheck. And that's when I started getting interested in real estate investing, financial education. So I took a set of courses that taught that, including velocity banking. And at that time, when I learned it in 2017, I wasn't in a position to be able to use it because I didn't have the income and the credit, right? I was low income, no credit. It's not bad credit, just no credit because I didn't even know what it was. Okay. And so, but because I was at the edge where, not having the extra $50 in my paycheck would kind of feel like the end of the world to me, I was just desperate to learn what I wanted to, whatever would help me and whatever helped me, that's what I'm going to apply, right? Whereas if I were learning about it now for the first time at my income level, I'd just be like, oh, that's nice, and just kind of curious why nobody else does it, and just kind of move on, right? Maybe I'll do it, maybe I'm not, but it's not a big deal, and that's also why a lot of people cannot do it when they're the six-figure great income, not paycheck to paycheck earner. Okay. And so again, it's not a lack of knowledge because I know a lot of you have watched the YouTube videos. It's not because you don't have a tool. Because I've hear like some of you saying like, oh, I got a HELOC for I don't know $200,000 or 300. Like I have equity of $300,000. Like dang, like that's even better than the you have more resources than I do, right? And still cannot do it because number one reason is support and psychological, right? And again, if no one around you is doing it, human beings, we feel comfortable. We're social creatures, right? Whether we want to admit it or not, we're social creatures, and we want to do things similar to the people around us, or because of social conditioning, we do things people are similar around. So, for example, if I'm in the United States, am I more likely to be into soccer or football? Right? Or if I live in, let's say, Europe, am I more likely to be in soccer or football? Right? So if definitely Europe, I'm more likely going to be into soccer. In the United States, I'm more likely to be football or basketball, right? Same thing with just even little habits, whether it's paying our mortgage and doing refinances so that we never pay off the bank or sell our homes, or whether it's a matter of just paying, dumping our paycheck into line of credit, right? If nobody around you does it, then it's just gonna, feel a little bit weird. Like, well, if this is so great, why is nobody else doing it, right? And so this is why I always talk about leadership, because in many aspects of your life, whether it's working with maybe like a new vendor or maybe like a contractor or a lawyer, assembling your team, you essentially have to be the leader of what it is that you're doing. And for most people, that's very uncomfortable because we're taught that we always should rely on somebody else. And there's no problem with relying on other people, but at the same time, team leaders, we also have to kind of rely on our own intuition and also be the ones to first try something to see if it's good or not. right? Sometimes what happens with a lot of people is that we're always relying too much on secondhand opinions rather than trying things ourselves. And I understand certain situations, you don't want to try certain things yourself, like jump off a cliff or put your hand on a burning stove. But with a simple thing like putting your paycheck into a HELOC, you don't, you know, it's a thing that you can do that I don't think will have like a big consequence because if you need money, you just pull it out of the HELOC, right? So that's why like I don't think it's such a big deal, but some of you are out there, and I've talked to you on Zoom calls where it's just like you're in this great scenario, and like, oh my goodness, you could have paid off your debt in like 6 months ago or like 5 years. You know what I mean? Like some of you have had credit card debt just floating with just because you need something in your savings, right? But again, number one reason why it's hard is because no one around you does it. That's simply it. And when I was broke, flat broke, almost at the poverty level, this kind of goes away. Like the fact that nobody around you does it, that really just does go away because there, when you're broke, no one's going to help you anyway. So like, what does it matter? If you like me, you're not going to help me. If you don't like me, you're not going to help me. So why should I care? Right? So that's why it was kind of easy for me to learn, but it took me a little bit of time to be able to be in a scenario to be able to use it. And so that's why, I think sometimes being too comfortable is not really the best scenario in terms of learning. Like you kind of have your butt to the fire if you want to go ahead and learn something. Now, here's the thing. Here's a few commonalities that I've seen. First thing is anyone who's kind of paycheck to paycheck, and I'm not saying we're talking about paycheck to paycheck here, but anyone who's in a high income position, even if they're not paycheck to paycheck, they engage in what we call segregation of income, right? So your paycheck comes in, you pay out of a checking account, and then your money is what we call segregated. It's used to pay, it's split into too many different pieces, right? So you have a checking account, savings, credit card, 1, 2, 3, loan, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so if you're making a lot of money, that's the easiest way to feel like you're paycheck to paycheck, right? That's the easiest way. And so some of you that I've talked to, even if you're not paycheck to paycheck, you engage in segregation of income, where you might have 30K in savings where it's like 0.01% of interest, and then you have 30K in credit card debt, right? That's at 20 to 30% interest. And these aren't 0% periods, right? And so it's like if you just paid off your debt, even throw your savings into credit card debt, then it's like, oh, then you'd be in a better position. But again, it feels good. And you're doing it because everyone around you is doing it that way. Okay. Now, the other thing that I've seen is extreme positive cash flow. And so if you have extreme positive cash flow, no need to just have any debt lying around. Again, that's at 20 or 30% interest. And because you're doing everything else, engaging the segregation of income, um, the 30,000 in savings where it's like 0.001%. I don't know if that's I forgot what the actual interest rate is, but no need to like lose money here just so it can gain a little bit of money here. It's kind of like how people say, oh, you should have your mortgage because you have a tax deduction, but like the interest that you pay in your mortgage is so much more than your tax deduction, right? I mean, it's kind of like paying $1 to save I don't know, a nickel or a quarter, right? That's what people are doing. And this is the same scenario too. You're paying $1 to save a penny. I don't know. That's how it feels like when you compare to 20, 30% interest to the 1.001% interest, right? But again, there are different levels where people are at. So some people think, oh, okay, I can only do velocity banking if I have watched more YouTube videos. No, it's not true for people who have the knowledge. Oh, I cannot do velocity banking until I have like a personal line or a HELOC, home equity line of credit. I know people, I've already talked to people like that, still can't do it, right? They got blockers, mental blockers. And so again, why can't you do it? Because no one around you does it. That's simply it. It's like, if you're trying to learn Mandarin and you're not in China or whatever, and you're around people who speak English and only know English, what's the likelihood that you're gonna go out and practice and speaking, Mandarin or whatever, um, and do it fluently if you're not gonna take the lead and just practice every single day, right? If you're not gonna take the lead and practice every single day, then likelihood you're not in the environment to do it. So that when you're in those types of environments, you have to kind of take the lead and say, "Hey, I'm just going to do this," right? And then find out for yourself if it's a good strategy or not. If it's a good strategy, post the results. If it's a bad strategy, just make YouTube videos and post comments on the channel here. It's about why this is a bad strategy. I don't really care if you agree or disagree with me or not. But all right. So this is Korean Atlanta Mentorship. If you're interested in joining a group, go ahead and click the Google form link down below. We'll be in contact with you, or you can email us by going to the About section of the YouTube channel and find our email there. Okay, have a great day, everybody, and we'll speak next time.